From Suddeth to Sutton. This is the rich legacy of the Sutton family, spanning from 1845 to 2024. With over 175 years, our story begins with our ancestor born into slavery, enduring and surviving the Civil War, and eventually migrating to Bastrop. This journey marks the inception of our enduring legacy. The context of the Somewhere Over the Rainbow family reunion theme is based both on biblical and natural humanity. The rainbow meant to God, His creation of humanity. The multiple colors of the rainbow identify each generation. 8 generations are celebrated today. Our first generation starts with James Suddeth, born in 1845, and goes down 2 more generations. Our living rainbow starts with our 4th generation and is represented by the following colors of the rainbow. The 4th generation is represented by the red color. The 5th generation is orange. The 6th generation is yellow. The 7th generation is green. And the 8th, our youngest generation, is blue. So, let's start our journey at the beginning with James Suddeth.
Hello, my name is James Suddeth, Suddath. I was born into slavery and servitude in 1845, and at the age of 5, the 1850 United States Federal Census has me listed as property to a Mr. James Suddeth, whose name I took on, and we are in Bath County, Kentucky. That's Eastern Kentucky. Our slave owner was the owner of Eagle's Mill, which specialized in lumber. For the next 15 years, our family worked on this plantation. We've had some hard winters and some sickness to come in, and my parents died, and then in 1862, our own slave owner was killed at the hands of Confederate soldiers. Now, in 1864, both me and my brother, we decided to leave the mill and go to Camp William Penn in Pennsylvania to sign up for the United States Union Army. We were accepted into the United States Colored Troops in our enlistment paperwork. My brother William, who took on the name of our slave owner's son, was listed as 5'9" and 165 pounds. Now, I'm listed as 5'4½", pretty near 150 pounds. Our color on our paperwork is listed as coffee, which took on the color of coffee with cream in it. After being accepted into the colored troops, we were issued rifles and taught how to march. Our uniform was 100% wool. Our rifle was a Springfield musket. With pride, I served in 4 regiments in the United States Colored Troops. The 100th Regiment was organized in Kentucky but saw no action. The 41st Regiment organized in Pennsylvania, and the 24th, which was also organized in Pennsylvania. Now, the 38th Regiment, also organized in Virginia, we moved to Texas between May 24th and June 6th of 1865. This unit saw duty at various points in the Rio Grande Valley in the southern portion of the state of Texas, including Brownsville, Brazos, Santiago, as well as Indianola and Galveston on the Gulf Coast. The 24th Regiment of the United States Colored Troops has been deployed in Galveston, Texas, a little further east of the Rio Grande Valley. It's hot. We are wearing a government-issued wool uniform, complete with a long-sleeve shirt. Our commanding officer told us that the most important thing for us to do is to keep our feet dry, and that is what we've been trying to do. Now, I can't find my brother William. I've made several requests to find him But everyone tells me that he is missing in action and presumed to be dead. Several of the troops have recently fallen sick to the illnesses that look like they followed us from the other areas we had been fighting in. Colored boys are dying from typhoid fever, dysentery, which is the infection of the intestines that come from some of this food that's been contaminated. They got measles that spread through the air and pneumonia. We also found out we make less money than the white troops. White troops earn $13 per paycheck, and ours is only $10. Plus, they have the nerve to take out $3 extra to pay for our uniforms. Now, our commanding officer said that it ain't right, but that's just the way it is. Now, we're getting word, there's a buzz in the air that it's possible that the war will soon be over. Now, I'm realizing that there's nothing for me to go back home to. As a slave owner and his family, they dead. My family is dead, and now William is presumed to be dead. Now, I'm betwixt a rock and a hard place. Now, one thing I do know, I have a skill. I have a vocation. I am a certified lumber worker due to the time that I worked for my master in Kentucky. Now, I've been told that there's an area due north of here in Bastrop County that has a timber industry already in place. And I do think I can find work there since there's nothing for me to go home to. So as soon as we get word that the war is over, I'm striking out and I'm headed to Bastrop County. I left the military on July 25th, 1867. My last assignment was in the Rio Grande Valley, and I asked a Union engineer to chart me a map to get to Bastrop County. The map I had took me up the Kings Highway, which is officially called the Old San Antonio Road, and it took me straight to Bastrop County. Now, after I left the military, I had money coming to me from past wages, and I could have asked for my money right then before I left the county seat in the Rio Grande Valley. Now, I chose not to take my money and waited until I got to Bastrop County. I decided to go to the Piney Freedom Colony due to the timber industry, which I was familiar with. When I got to the Piney Freedom Colony in Bastrop County, they directed me to the Bastrop County seat where I could ask for my past wages and apply for my military pension. They said that they could offer me money as considered greenbacks or a demand note, which was considered money. Now, the chaplain from the war saw that I had survived, and we talked, and he explained to me that this is now my time, my destiny, for me to go out and make something of my life and to make an impact on the world. As I made it to the colony, I talked with the pastor of the church there, and he said that I told him I wanted to buy some land and settle there. I explained to him that I also spoken with the chaplain of the war about moving forward with my life and creating my legacy. The preacher at the colony listened to my story and said that since I had survived being born into slavery, survived the Civil War, that now it is time for me to work on my legacy. I said that my legacy would be to grow a family where everyone would love one another, for everyone to learn a trade or a vocation, and to become independent, and we would grow our own crops. Now, the pastor guided me to where I needed to be so that I would be able to do as I hoped. I went back to the Bastrop County seat, set up an account, and applied for land ownership. One night I went to one of the church meetings, and I met a beautiful lady named Letty Edwards. Now, She was considered a Mexican Texan or Tejano because of her heritage. She was a descendant of Creoles and Mestizos in Texas before Texas was even an American state. She was born in 1851. Now, I am 5'4.5" and pretty close to 150 pounds. And Letty was little. She was barely 5 foot tall, but she was the love of my life. Now, between us, we had our first child, Ben, in 1874, Mildred in 1875, and then Letty and I married in 1879. After that, George was born in 1883, James in 1890, Lucinda in early 1892, Pink in late 1892, and last but not least, Savannah in 1895. Now, we were advised not to get into the sharecropping business. Everything that we grew was shared amongst the family and friends, and we were never indebted to the local government. Now, I do believe that my legacy is intact. I'm very proud of our family and our accomplishments. Who knows what other blessings God may have in store for us?
In 1864, at age 19, our ancestor took on his dead slave owner's name, James Suddeth, in order to enlist as a volunteer in the Union Army. The 1870 census is the first time African Americans were counted by name along with the rest of the population, and is often the first official record of a surname for former slaves. The official census records of 1890 were destroyed in a fire. The first records we could find were from 1910, listed James Suddeth and his household as James Sutton due to the spelling change by the census staff. James Sutton Sr., commonly known as Papa Jim, was James and Letty's fourth-born child. He attended Mount Zion Baptist Church in the Freedom Colony and was educated by the County Public Negro School in the Mount Zion community. He also attended Samuel Huston College in Austin, Texas, a Christian school for colored youth, where he learned about the trade of being a carpenter. After college, James came back to the Freedom Colony. He was well known for building homes in the community and his own house, which was located on the land he purchased on Highway 95 in Bastrop County. In addition to being a carpenter, he was a farmer that grew sweet potatoes, watermelon, and peanuts. He's remembered for being smart, funny, and always deep in thought. James married twice, first to Mary Williams on February 14, 1908 for 21 years until her death from influenza in 1929. His second marriage was to Lily B. Sutton, affectionately known as Mother Lily B. Papa Jim had 3 children, twins Narvell and Seidel Sutton, and James Sutton Jr. They are a part of our third generation. First, we have Narvell Sutton, also known as Aunt Belle, was born in Bastrop County, Texas on January 2, 1909. Narvell grew up attending Mount Zion Baptist Church and was educated by the County Public Negro School, Mount Zion, located in the Mount Zion community like her father. When her mother died in 1929, Narvell took on the family's matriarch role. She was instrumental in shaping the entire Sutton family's unity. On October 5, 1930, Narvell married Fred Williams, commonly known as Uncle June, in Bastrop County, Texas. In their early years, the Williams family resided in the Freedom Colony of Utley, Texas, where 3 of their 4 children were born. Once the family moved to Austin, Texas, Narvell worked for the Conoco oil family, who provided the Williams family the opportunity to obtain homeownership, working to own their family residence on 16th Street. Fred worked as a chef at the Austin Country Club. He was a well-known chef, especially for the Fred Burger, which stayed on the menu for decades. Fred also briefly played for the Negro Leagues. Fred and Narvell had 4 children. This is the first generation represented in our family rainbow: Lily Mae Williams, Freddie Williams, Annie Lee Holmes. At age 47, Narvell went to the doctor and was initially diagnosed as having a tumor they needed to operate. The family she worked for sent her to another doctor where they discovered that she was actually pregnant with her 4th child, Linda K. Williams. There was nearly a 20-year gap between her 1st and 4th child. Narvell's twin brother, Sydell Sutton, commonly known as Uncle Bud, was born in Bastrop County, Texas, on January 2, 1909. He was raised in the Freedom Colonies in Bastrop County. Like his father and sister, Sydell attended Mount Zion Baptist Church and was educated by the County Public Negro School in the Mount Zion community. Also similar to his father, Sydell was a carpenter. He built houses, did remodels, painting, and other construction projects. He shared his skills to help his brother with several construction projects at his farm. Uncle Bud married Sammy Lee Hyder in 1933 in Bastrop County, Texas. In the early years of their union, the Sutton family resided in the Freedom Colony of Utley, Texas, where their children were born. Sydell and Sammy had 7 children: Dorothy Mae Meteris, James Holmes, Flora Kendall, C.L. Sutton, Lloyd Pickett, Maxine Manor, and Dolores Joanne Sutton. They are also a part of the Red Generation. James Sutton Jr., affectionately known as Uncle Dune, was born in Bastrop County, Texas, on August 2, 1912. He was the baby brother to his twin siblings, Narvell and Sydell Sutton. He grew up in the Freedom Colonies, attending Mount Zion Baptist Church, where he later became a deacon. He was educated by the County Public Negro School, Mount Zion, located in the Mount Zion community. Uncle Dune owned his own farm and ranch, where he grew cotton, corn, vegetables, fruit, orchards, and raised livestock. Since he had a working ranch, he often shared with his siblings, and all of the family gatherings and family reunions were held in the country. James married Susie Mae Walker in 1934 in Bastrop County, Texas. They also resided in the Freedom Colony in Utley, Texas, where they had all of their children: John Henry Sutton, Mary Sutton, Clyde Sutton, Vernon Sutton, and Joyce Sutton Fowler. Do you know who from the Red Generation you're a descendant of? To take a deeper dive, the biographies of the entire Red Generation can be found in the Suddeth to Sutton book. So, we've learned about twins Narvell and Sydell Sutton. But did you know that twins run in our family? Cordell and Cornell were born from the Sydell branch. Brett and Barbette stem from the James Jr. branch. Sonia and Tanya were born from the Narvell branch. And Izair and Samir also stem from the James Jr. branch. Military service is also prevalent in our family. James Suddeth served in the Civil War. His grandsons Sydell and James both registered for the draft during World War II. In the Red Generation, several members bravely served during the Korean and Vietnam Wars. The military service legacy continued into the Orange and Yellow generations. We honor all of these family members and thank them for their service. One of the reasons for holding a family reunion is so that we can pay tribute to those who came before us. It's important that we do not forget the lessons of the past. The suffering and the successes of our ancestors have given us the knowledge and the strength we must have to survive the future. So we push forward, welcoming in new generations. The newest family members are known today as the Blue Generation. We have Journey Walker, who stems from the Sydell and Sammy Sutton branch. Kingston Holmes stems from the Narvell and Fred Williams branch. And Zaria Pottinger, who also stems from the Sydell and Sammy Sutton branch. This is the rich legacy of the Suddeth Sutton family, spanning from 1845 to 2024. That's over 179 years of history. Our history. This journey marks the inception of our enduring legacy. Without these pivotal events and resilient individuals, our family would not exist today. This has been a testament to our remarkable history and the strength that has carried us through generations.